Hi. Over the last couple lessons, we've shown how to make a few simple, basic My blocks. And in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to make your My blocks a little bit better. And I'll also show you a trick that one of my teams came up with a couple years ago that lets you use My blocks across multiple robots. Or if you change your robot design, it makes changing your My blocks very simple. So first, some My blocks basics. This is the right turn block we built in the last lesson, and there's nothing wrong with it really, but we can make it better, and I'll show you how. One thing I like to do is, um, since we're counting on measurements of the motor degrees, I like to reset the counters inside the motors to make sure they're starting absolutely at 0. This might not be necessary, but it always makes me feel a little better to make sure that we're starting our uh, degree counters exactly at 0 and there's no round off errors or residual values in there or anything. So we'll make these for motors B and motor C. So now we know the reset. And another thing that's a really good practice for just from a coding standpoint, and also judges really like to see this because it shows you know what you're doing, is to describe what this block does in a comment field. So I've already written the comment for this one, so I'll just paste it in to save a little time. And then what it says is, what this My block does is it calculates motor degrees from turn degrees, and it shows the formula. Turn degrees is equal to motor degrees is equal to 2 times turn degrees times the robot track divided by the wheel diameter. And that's exactly what we're doing down here, assuming that the robot track is 4.5 inches and the wheel diameter is 3.1 inches. Now these are not necessarily what your robot will be. You'll have to actually measure them, but they are what my robot was when I did this program. And now, so it's always good to describe what you're doing in your My block. And the main reason is so that if you come look at this later, you'll remember what you were doing. So if you change it, you can be careful not to change things that might affect the performance in the wrong way, not the way you want to. And I'm going to show you a little trick one of the teams I worked with came up with. And as it was this. So we know that the we can set some constants. We know that the track for this robot is 4.5 inches, so we can make this a numeric value, right? And then we can replace and put that here. And we can also know that the wheel diameter, let's put this out here, is 3.1 inches in this case. And like I said, yours will be different. And we can, oops, set this numeric, that's correct. And put this value into the C variable in the math block. Ah, what happened? Oh, there we go. We'll try that again. That wasn't very good, was it? I'm having a fat finger day on my mouse trackpad. And put that into there. So now we're doing exactly the same thing. We're still multiplying the turn degrees by the track times 2 divided by the wheel diameter. Okay, we've nothing changed there, but here's the trick. What if we make this into a My block? So I make a My block out of only those 2 blocks. I use my block builder. And for an icon, we know it's data that's not changing, so we'll give the little suitcase icon. And I'm going to add 2 parameters. One, we'll name them My block. Let's call it robot values, just for entry. Okay. What did I do wrong? They didn't like that for some reason. Let's try it again. Robot name required. My block, robot values. Okay. And we're going to add a parameter. First parameter will be wheel diameter, so let's call it diameter. And it will be output. And for the diameter, let's just use something in here that looks like good. That looks like a wheel, so we'll use that for the symbol for the wheel diameter. And we're going to add one more parameter. And this one we're going to give a value, call this one robot track. So let's call it track. And it'll be an output, and we'll give an icon that looks like, must be something in here that'll work. There. That looks like sort of the pointing the track of a robot. So we'll try that. And there we go. I can't have a space in it. Robot values. There we go. So no spaces. Let's remember that. So now we have a my block. And we'll finish it. And let's get rid of this. I'm going to try to delete that. There we go. So now I can put this here. And now I can do that. Drag this over here. And this over here. And now does our recall that it's A times B is supposed to be track. Okay, that's not right. So we're going to break these out. So we want the track to be B. And the wheel diameter to be C. And there's our enhanced my block. Now, the beauty of this robot values block, is that if we put this in all of our my blocks, and for some reason we change the wheels on our robot or change the track of our robot, we only have to change this one my block, and all of our other my blocks change automatically. So we don't have to rewrite all of our my blocks if we change something about our robot. And that saves a lot of time. That's because, and this is slightly technical, these values, the way that variables are stored in Mindstorms is all variables are global. It means that all variables are available in every program, or every program in your project. So that if you, anytime you have something called track, it's here, and every time something's called diameter, it's over here. And it's always the same. You can't have more than one value called that. And that's it for today. We have a little bit better my block, and this would be better from both a programming standpoint, because you have comments, and also from a judging standpoint, because the judges can understand what you're doing. So have a great one. Thanks a lot.